Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty Group, and welcome back to this week's Pick 5. Now this week I want to pick up on an old theme. We've done this before, unique properties, or we could call them properties of distinction if we wanted to sound classy. But what I wanted to do today was essentially go through MLS and look for what I can find the 5 most unique properties in the city. Now, I didn't put a houseboat on here. I could have put a houseboat on here. I'm sure there's a bed share somewhere. Do you not know what a bed share is? True story. There's actually people that will go and put on Facebook Marketplace or wherever we'll have them, Craigslist, Kijiji. You're not renting an apartment. You're not renting a room within an apartment. You're renting half of a bed. That was an actual article that appeared in the media last year. So I want to look for 5 unique properties. I'm going to look everywhere across the price points. And let's be honest, to get really, truly unique, we're not going to find that for $450,000. So the cheapest one today is $1,998,000. But we're going to look at houses, we're going to look at condos. And then the last one we're going to look at is neither a house nor a condo. So let's start here, guys. 2B Minto Street, Loft 2. All right, well, you see the B, and then you see the Loft 2. So you're thinking, is this a conversion? Is this a laneway? Is this a garage? Well, $2 million for a 4-bed plus 2-bed, 2-bath, over 2,000 square feet. And just from the initial look of the MLS photo, yeah, well, I would certainly say that looks like some sort of a conversion. So let's go to the map here, guys. So you can see Queen Street East. This is prime Leslieville, or I guess some of you might say, well, prime Leslieville is a little bit further west, but you can see the park here. We're not too far from Cody. We just sold a place on there. So down here, you can see Eastern Avenue. And if you want to go work with me here a little bit further east, yes, there is the rail yard. Too close to the rail yard, of course, is where people say you can hear the screeching. This is Minto Street. Minto Street is, yes, right next to the rail yard. So for those of you who are aware, Minto Street, you're thinking, oh my God, I don't want to be at 2B because it is right next to that. No, 2B Minto Street is all the way down here near Sears. I would say you're probably not hearing too much noise from here, but the little building that could, right here, there's only a handful of units. This, of course, being loft number 2. Now let's take a look at the photos, because this is one of those properties where, actually they're all properties where picture paints 1,000 words. For $2 million, yes, you could get into a lot of different property types, but we're talking unique. There you go, 2B Minto. What more could you possibly want to look for? I'm trying to find it on Google Maps. So that's what it looks like from the outside. You can see a small building with just a handful of parking spaces. You have ground access. This is a conversion. This is the, well, I wouldn't say original garage door, but point being, here's a garage door. So what was this at some point? Probably a ton of different uses. Could be an old machine shop, and it could be an auto body shop, and now it is residential living. Now, I say that, of course, residential. There are offices in here. This is live work. You've got a beautiful kitchen. You've got a huge kitchen, you've got a huge unit, you've got over 2,000 square feet, and you think this sign, this bike, you kind of got to have that if you're living in a funky loft. But if you want something unique, and I don't want to get into the whole typecasting today of like who's the cool guy or the couple that's buying this kind of place, but you're in Leslieville, you've got $2 million, you don't want a house, this is about as unique a place as you're going to find. And this is in the $2 million condo price point, probably as unique as you're going to find anywhere in the east side and the west side and the downtown core. So we could do a pick 5 about lofts, and we could throw this in here, absolutely. But as it stacks up against some of the other properties we're going to see, and realistically, guys, because that's the theme today, all of the properties for sale across the entire GTA, I do think this is one of the 5 most unique properties that there is. Now, if you look at a photo like this is a pretty typical bed, throw pillows, hangy light, yeah. This is a pretty typical, somewhat dated bathroom, great. But it's not this that we're looking at. It's everything else. I mentioned the +2. You've got separate fire doors here because this is a big formerly industrial building. You've got this office here. There are multiple offices in here. I said the +2. Remember, it's a 4-bed +2. There are so many different rooms here. You start to feel like, yeah, it almost feels a little bit like an office building. And some of the best lofts, some of the best conversions, and some of the best live-work units are exactly that. So I don't know that the person buying this needs 4 bedrooms. There you can see they've turned one into a gym. But if you wanted to live work, and I don't know people, now I can typecast, graphic design, right? You just go over to like Kenny's house. You're like, yeah, Kenny lives at 2B Minto. He's got his kitchen, his living, his dining, but I have my own office there. 4 bedrooms +2. It's enough to necessitate both living and working, or sorry, not to necessitate, the opposite of the word, to fulfill the need to live and work. You can run a company out of here. There's a nice little aerial shot, although they're just missing the arrow that goes to it. So this guy's about as unique as you could possibly find. This is your massive open concept dining. You have a combination, right? This is like your equivalent of bar stools at a granite countertop in a typical cookie cutter condo or Lawrence Park home in your big oversized kitchen. And here you have your massive living room. And then behind here, you got bedroom 1, bedroom 2, bedroom 3, bedroom 4, and the 2 offices as well. So that's the first one. I think it's super cool. This one's been up a few times over the years. I've seen this one kicking about. That to me, if you were looking for a cool guy or cool gal loft, is what I would consider. The next one is exceptionally unique to me because of that location. So 113 Dupont. Now Dupont is sort of like, is it, isn't it? Yorkville? No, I don't think it is. I think that here, right, you're in the designer's walk area. Now, where is Yorkville proper? Well, it's on the other side of Avenue, down here, guys. And I say it would be further south. Right, we're getting down into here. You can start to see where it looks like buildings. Move Google Maps. Here we go. Right, this is Bloor. You've got Scholar. You've got Yorkville down here. So yeah, Dupont. Okay, I guess it kind of sounds quasi Yorkville. This isn't. But what it is, once again, is one of the most unique units that I've seen in a long time. So this is, guys, how many units in here? 7. So 7 units. You start to think boutique. If you wanted something targeting unique, kind of off the beaten path, you'd look for something with 4 to 8 units. Now, of course, with that, the caveat is it's not a 500 unit building. Usually you're gonna have to really question reserve fund, maintenance fees, and who's running it. Are there 5 people on the board of directors in a building with 7 units? So it is a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom. But what I find so unique about this is you wouldn't expect to see this hard loft style. So let's take a look at this. The pictures are really gonna explain it. So here's the outside, very nondescript. Here's the inside. Okay, we've got some brick. We've got an elevator, it looks like a dentist's office. What is it here? Okay, no, boom, there you go. That's unique. Now, the renovation, they just finished this. I mean, it's amazing. Look at the concrete ceilings, exposed ductwork, conduits. That's all part and parcel of a hard loft conversion. Of course, you gotta have the Peloton. They have a herringbone floor. Is that herringbone, chevron? They did a ridiculous reno on this. The style to me is what's so unique. I hate to overuse Manhattan, New York inspired, but you've got brick, which you would expect from a brick and beam hard loft. You've got concrete, which you expect from an industrial hard loft, or something like, say, Tip Tops, right? Where it's that sort of more concrete look to it. And then you've got a vibe that's almost like Forest Hill, with this oak chevron floor. So the layout to me, I'll get you to the floor plan in a moment, right? Is that a wood burning fireplace? The style, okay, it might not be mine, but it is so incredibly unique that somewhere out there, there's somebody that's gonna wanna move in and buy all the furniture. So from the standpoint of unique, and I wanted to feature a condo, oh, you gotta have that big ass espresso maker. Is that a fridge and a freezer right there? No, one of them's gotta be a pantry. But from the standpoint of unique, yes, it definitely hits the mark. Again, you go through and you look at the brick here, you would think that this is a hard loft like something you would find at Noble Street, or say it's part of the Candy Factory Lofts. No, it is an offshoot of Yorkville, and it is ridiculously renovated, and it is almost, when you look at something like this has got a bit of a Forest Hill, Lawrence Park kind of vibe. And then you go in and the master bedroom is completely different from that brick style that we saw at the entranceway. This looks like a hotel with a little tree out front. So this is what I think is really cool. This photo right here feels like a hotel, feels super modern. Then you go back to the main living space and you've got that authentic, rich yellow brick. Look at the reno here. So I think it's unique because it's a style clash, or not a clash, it's a combination. And I'm not the designer, so far be it for me to say I'm trying to explain exactly what this is. Now, layout-wise, I mean, spoil yourself. Unbelievable bathroom, closets, storage. This is ridiculous. Now, it is $4 million, but is it worth it? It's worth it to the one buyer. Here's the other bedroom. There you go. You've got a little brick in there. So really, really particularly renovated and just finished, right? The listing says outstanding custom renovation just completed. Loft-style condo in boutique building, 7 suites. 2-car parking, no expense spared. Yeah, it does not actually look like any expenses were spared. So as far as condos, that is about as unique as you can do. Let me move on now. I think our first one here, let me see if I remember correctly. No, one more. Okay, so this, I said move on from condos. There are a lot of expensive condos I could have put in here. The one that we just saw was very unique from a design standpoint. Having said that, this one is even more unique. Now this is at 468 Wellington. This is the Butterick Lofts. Butterick, I don't know, but look at the spelling. 5,000 plus square feet. They're priced at just shy of $7 million. No outdoor space whatsoever. Guys, talk to me about unique. Look at this reno. I'm gonna drink my coffee while we go through the photos because I'm actually afraid of what I might say. I said unique. That's what we wanted today. We wanted unique. I'm not wrong. Is this not one of the most 5 unique properties you're gonna see in the city of Toronto? This thing is so cool, and it's not for everybody, but the person that it's for is going to love it. And once again, I would say they're gonna want the whole thing lock, stock, and barrel. Look at this thing. It's crazy, 5,000 square feet. Now, obviously, this is an owner that has a certain style, but it's continued throughout. This is neat. Look at that. Look at that. Like, what does that remind you of? I feel like I'm in the clubhouse of a golf course, right? This is so cool. Look at the artwork. Look at those chairs. It's just fascinating to me. This does not feel like a downtown Toronto condo. And you ain't seen nothing yet. You just wait until we get to the next two. So, unique. It could be location. It could, guys, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I'm not wrong. 5 most unique. So it could be location, it could be property style, it could be the building type. There you go. The Butterick Lofts, 468. And in this case, it's all of the above. So it's on Wellington, that's down by Spadina, it's 5,000 plus square feet. It is crazily designed. Can we just go back? Of course we can, I can do whatever I want. Something like this, what in the world is that in a downtown Toronto condo? Check this out. You have a piano in your condo because you have 5,000 square feet. And then my favorite photo is this one. I don't know what that is, but gosh darn if I'm not intrigued. Tell me this isn't one of the 5 most unique properties for sale in the city of Toronto, and I will tell you, you are wrong. Okay, now moving on, we're going to look at now, are you ready? A former rectory. Yes, it is a rectory. Former rectory of a 19th century church, a testament to grand architecture, converted to the ultimate in top-tier urban living by carving out an astounding 7,690 square feet of finished space, which art lovers will cherish. 314 Palmerston. So let's look at the location. It's off of College. Well, of course it is, because, well, there's a church, and here's the rectory. 7,690 square feet. If you were driving by College in Palmerston, you might be impressed by some of these old Victorian homes. You might be like, oh, that's a big house. Did you think there was an 8,000 square foot home built in a former rectory? Guys, look at the photos. 4 bed plus 1 7 bath. I haven't even been telling you the specs on it because the photos are what's going to tell the story. Now, the high ceiling's unbelievable. They mentioned the artwork. Pay special attention to that. I will say the kitchen in this feels like I've seen this in a lot of condos. So really what we're looking at here is everything else. It's the space, it's the ceilings, it's the artwork, it's the outdoor space as well. Yeah, maybe that kitchen didn't do it for me, but I was expecting something to absolutely blow me away. The space is blowing me away. That staircase, the amount of levels, the skylight up top. This is a house. This is a house built in a rectory. This is off of College. You would never expect that this is here. That closet there, that makes the last place look like a little closet in a 3 bed, 2 bath semi, built in 1920 when John Smith had 1 pair of pants. Look at this as an office. Looks like the Queen lives here. Look at the artwork. Where would you get a pink ottoman? I do not know. These people have gone to town on design. And it gets better. You ready for this? I'm gonna go upstairs. Keep going. I like to see some carpet. I'm a big carpet fan. Okay, you have a gym. Is that the gym in the building? No. That's the gym in the unit. And look at that. Rooftop terrace. Elevator. Bar. I mean, for $7.5 million, yeah. But what's funny about this is that all these photos, they look like what you'd expect to see in a condominium. Here's the common elements. This ain't common elements, folks. This belongs to the unit. And there's your bathroom. It looks pretty nondescript because I'm assuming that, of course, is upstairs on the top level. You have to go down a flight of stairs, which is awesome. You can see the CN Tower. Look at the greenery, the foliage. Look at the foliage on my rooftop terrace of my rectory home. Sounded weird. There you go. Rectory home. There's your 2-car parking. There's your front door. That is one of the most unique properties in the city of Toronto. And we'll skip the floor plans. But let me go to street view. So how do we do this? Drop this little man here. Whee! That didn't work. That didn't work. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for you. Oh, it's working. Here we go, guys. So here it is, guys. Check this out. There's your original church. Let's go down Palmerston, and you can start to see where's that rectory, 314, right here. Let me pull this up. Look at this. You wouldn't think that this is a house. You certainly wouldn't think that it's 7,000 square feet that is upgraded to that level with a rooftop, with a bar, with amenities you would think are from its own condominium. This is one of the most unique properties you're ever going to find in the city of Toronto. Okay, last but not least is what I might say is the most unique property you're going to find in the city of Toronto. Now, 18 Gloucester Lane. I want to go to the map here first. So Gloucester Lane, okay, it's off of Yonge Street. It's in between Isabella and Gloucester, of course. Let's zoom in a little bit and you start to say, well, geez, this kind of looks like it's in the area of commercial buildings. There's some condominium development around here. David, of course, had a failed land assembly in here. Yes, that's exactly the case. In fact, cat out of the bag, it was in here. Yep, that's right. We were going to build a condo here and a local city councilor said, not happening. So here we go. What have we got? You're looking at this, 10,000 square feet, okay, but it's only a 35 by 60 foot lot. Guys, listen to this. I'm gonna read you the description, so you're gonna have to put up with my voice. Tucked discreetly behind Yonge Street, 18 Gloucester Lane is a rare property of understated distinction. A laneway address that quietly carries both architectural integrity and cultural presence. Built in 1912 and thoughtfully modernized, this 5-story buff brick building remains one of Toronto's most evocative landmarks. Did they use evocative or is that AI? I don't think I've ever used the word evocative, and I've written 3,000 blogs over 17 years. Evocative landmarks offering discretion, provenance, and unmatched centrality. Unmatched centrality, I guess it's pretty central. Behind its timeless facade lies over 9,700 square feet of space, scaled and grounded by heritage character, arched windows, exposed brick and beam, and expansive industrial proportions. You ready for this part? Over 4 decades, this building was a creative home base for Norman Jewison, one of Canada's most internationally acclaimed filmmakers. And then it kind of goes on to talk about how unique it is. So, fine, it's not a house, it's not a condo, it's a building, it's commercial, but it has offices, and then it has an owner's suite, if you will. It's got, and we'll look at the photos here, you can see 18, pretty nondescript. It's got character. It's brick, and it's beam, and it's beautiful. And this might be somebody's office, could be a doctor or a lawyer. It's got a wood-burning fireplace, and it's for sale. It's $8 million. You can turn it into whatever you want. So we just saw the rectory that was for sale. It's $7.5 million. It's a house. It's built out of a former rectory. It's so incredible at 8,000 square feet, it's got its own rooftop terrace and bar. And you could look at this and be like, yeah, but David, there's tenants in here. You've got a doctor in here. You've got an architect in here. You've got a filmmaker in here. Yeah, but this is live work. This is commercial. And there is so much character in here. There's your kitchen, as I said. There's an owner's suite in here, and we'll keep going, that you could, if you wanted to, turn this into something absolutely magnificent, or you buy it and you live in one of the units. I mean, granted, this isn't really beautiful, but yes, it needs a bit of a reno. You're gonna be like, wow, this, yeah, okay, cool. This is what? That's a kitchen, that's wallpaper. Like I said, guys, could use a bit of TLC. But let's get to the next couple of photos because they're really gonna show the space. This right here. This would look like, if you didn't think that someone was working here and, I don't know, creating software, this would look like one of the most beautiful hard lofts you've ever seen. Yes, see these lights here? Very office lighty. See these desks here? Yeah, it feels like we're drafting some, what do we draft? Architectural drawings. So that's kind of my vibe here. But you could turn this into whatever you want it to be. This entire building, what do we say, 10,000 square feet of 1912 built brick and beam loft space. This thing could be an absolute monster. I don't know, it's probably too expensive to build and change, but like even the bathroom's got yellow brick. You're even making a big deal of it. Sure, there are people from other cities around the world, they're like, yeah, I don't care, our whole city's made of this brick. Interestingly enough, can I go back to this? There was a house in Leaside I always admired. They did an extension. The brick was yellow and the property was built in the 1930s. Where'd they get the brick to match? Anyone? Anyone? Chicago. See how I did anyone? Ferris Bueller wasn't that film in Chicago? Yeah. So point being, they took bricks from an old industrial building in Chicago that were of the same brick, made in the same brickworks, and that's how they did their extension. That is on Besborough Drive in Leaside on the west side, if you're ever taking a look at it. It's a yellow brick house. So, excuse the tangent, I absolutely love the yellow brick. Of course, there are places where they're tired of it, and I'm sure these folks that are having a meeting here are tired of somebody taking a photo of them as they look to sell the building. So last one here, guys. I might have spent too much time on this considering it is basically a live work or industrial. Norman Jewison was here, but it's such a cool building. And it is live work. We saw there are 2 kitchens in here. Well, so actually 3, but there's 2 apartments in here. And it could just be an absolute monster if somebody wanted to take this and convert it. So there you go, guys. 5 of the most unique properties. I said properties, not houses and condos, because the last one is, it's actually under store with apartment office. 44,000 in taxes. That's interesting. But yeah, 5 properties that I would say are among the most unique in the city of Toronto right now. What makes something unique? It's different for everybody. As I said, it could be the location, the property size, style, layout. I'm prone to looking at lofts quite often, or conversions, or both. The one we saw in Minto, that's easy. It's $2 million. It's a ton of space. Maybe it's got too many bedrooms and little rooms, and if you're not, running a software studio out of there, it might not be the right configuration. I mean, the one that we saw on Dupont, that was ridiculously unique. 468 Wellington, so unique. I think there might be one buyer for that in the city of Toronto. But as I said, the type of person that buys that, they want everything in there. They are basically a doppelganger for the person that lives in there. And they're like, yes, this is me and this is what I want. Then we had Gloucester Lane. Oops, I actually skipped one. Which one was it? Which I think was my favorite. The one in between. Yes, Palmerston, 314 Palmerston in the rectory. That's probably, price notwithstanding, because I could say there's a $30 million listing I like more. It's probably, on a relative basis, my favorite listing in the city right now because it's so ridiculously unique, and it's $7.5 million. And then, yeah, as we said, last but not least, the former home of Norman Jewison, the filmmaker, for 40 years in a building on 18 Gloucester Lane, which could make like the coolest conversion in a city. Anyways, guys, we switched up this week, want to do something very different. Maybe next week we'll go back to cookie cutter condos, or I don't know, 3-bed, 2-bath semis. If there's time, we'll see. That's it for this week, folks. Thank you so much for watching. As always, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.